Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Kaito and the rest of the Robotics Club were busy overseeing the next stages of development regarding Gun Build 2, namely the assembly of the waist of the lower section, which would then mean that they could start testing the motors to make sure that the legs were working, and eventually move on to the upper structure as well, in preparation for the Tokyo Expo. Despite the fact that Akiho had prepared a large Christmas party both for the Robotics Club and for the JAXA technicians working on Gun Build 2, Kaito, Frau and Juna couldn't help but feel forlorn at the fact that someone was missing. That is, the AI construct based upon the still living Yukifune, who vanished on Christmas Eve, sometime after midnight. Or so it seemed. For it turns out that another miracle came true. Possibly as thanks for granting a miracle of our own. For the Irie AR construct has returned, along with her counterpart, Sister Centipede. Whether or not she is fully restored or has been somewhat reformatted due to the IRU update remains to be seen. That being said, the Irie AI is back. And with that, the time has come to move forward in this adventure. 4 endings have been obtained. Those of Juna Daitoko, Kona Furugori, aka Frau Kojiro, the Irie AI construct, and of course, Naitonoji. There is one more ending that is yet to be obtained, and while I was talking, I got an achievement, Shing achievement unlocked, which possibly means that that's a sign that the way forward has been cleared, because the path to Phase 9 is now open to us. So without further ado, let us see what awaits in Phase 9 of Robotics Notes Elite. I really love giant robots. Phase 9, Exosphere Breaker. Akiho Tsunomiya's home. Achievement unlocked, Chapter 9. And it's 2020. That's right, 2019. It's been fun, but it's time to say sayonara. And also, in Akiho's room, we're looking at a pair of very interesting models. Very detailed models. The iconic first Gundam, or the Crimson Zaku. I wonder if Akiho has actually taken the time to assemble either of these, or if she's just keeping them for Collector's nostalgia. I wonder. But even I know the significance of these two robotic icons. Which one do you prefer, the white one or the red one? After some intense deliberation, I chose the red one on account of a certain person. And it's going back again. If you look at the lower right-hand corner of the Zaku box at the base of it, you can see the outline of, you can see the illustration of said certain person. I won't say his name, but I definitely know who he is. In other words, yeah, Akiho chose the Zaku over the Gunbum. It was the first plastic model that my dad ever bought me, for me, the red one. Zaku's red master grade model. Of course, Big Sis chose the original Gunbum, which would definitely put the Sonomiya sisters at odds. Misaki choosing the side of the Earth Federation, while Akiho chooses to stand with the Principality of Zeon. Or maybe not. I was only 5 or 6 back then. Dad was going to buy one robot model each for Big Sis and me. But unlike my sister, I knew next to nothing about all the different kinds of robots back then. When Dad asked me if I wanted the white one or the red one, I said the red one on a whim. Most likely on the basis that it just seemed cool at the time, and still does. And so Big Sis ended up with the white one, letting out a triumphant cry of, "Nicely done, Aki. I get the feeling that Misaki would have chosen Gunbum over Zaku anyway, but that's just me." The white one is the hero's mech, and it's more popular and taller and looks cooler, but I didn't find that out until later. To me, they were both cool. I was just happy that Dad bought them for us at all. Kenichiro was really generous. It's almost certainly Dad's fault that I ended up turning into the kindergartner that I was. Yes, he should bear much of the responsibility for that. When we got home, Dad built the plastic models for us. Kenichiro is quite the hobbyist, it seems. He figured that Mother would definitely complain if he bought them for himself, so he used his kids as an excuse. Nice little loophole there. He looked thrilled as he put together Big Sis's Gunbum and my Zaku. A few months later, and us sisters had become hooked on playing with plastic models. We were obsessed with them, even though they weren't exactly girly. You'd be surprised at how many classic collectors there are in the world, Akiho. But that being said, they are quite expensive. Quite pricey. Every time we played together, it would always end the exact same way, since Big Sis would enforce her own made-up rules. And it is. It isn't the Crimson Zaku for nothing.
私が一番ガンバムをうまく使えるんだ。一番うまく使えるんだ。ビーム。ブッブー。秋野はビーム使えないっていつも言ってるでしょ。ビームはガンバムだけなの。ズッキューン。はい、命中。ずるい。
Back then, Akiho didn't quite know the strategies of the two robots.
ずるくない。
Or
そっちだ
rather,
って3倍早く動けるんだから。
they're not technically robots. They're actually, yeah, to be more accurate, mobile suits.
たまにはうちも勝ちたいよ。
Both of these iconic figures are formidable in and of their own right. But as to which is truly superior, probably more depends on the pilot as much as the suit.
ダメ。いいアキ。正義は必ず勝たなきゃいけないの。それが運命なの。覚えておきなさい。
Justice always prevails, huh? How like Akiho you were, Misaki. A long time ago.
正義は必ず勝つ。かっこいい。
Sounds cool when you're young and impressionable, but in the real world?
わかったよ、お姉ちゃん。うち忘れない。絶対忘れない。
Now you've gone and done it, Misaki. The way Big Sis stood before me while white Gundam in hand, shining bright and with triumphant light, was so incredibly cool. This is how I learned about the rules of victory. And the tragic beauty that was that person's, the pilot of the red machines, fall. An anti-hero to the end. I'd argue that those play sessions ultimately defined who I am today. It's where me, Big Sis, and the Robotics Club began. So hey, Big Sis.
待っててね。あと少しで追いつけるから。
I opened the curtains vigorously. A brand new day. The gentle sunlight of early spring pours into my room. I look upon the many plastic models and figures that decorate my room one by one. The very first Zaku and Gundam that Dad bought for us that day are still safely stored here. Those small plastic models are where our journey began. And now, at long last, we finally achieved our dreams with our 8-meter high giant robot, which is modeled on neither Gundam nor the Zaku. Alright, let's get going. For today is Gundam 2's first test run. It's been many months, but it's time, at long last. we're back with Kaizo. Sky is clear and blue. 2020. Well, anyway, Zaku, a mass-produced enemy robot that appears in Mobile Jacket Gundam. It comes in a multitude of variations, such as the generic mass-produced model, the red model that moves 3 times faster, and several others. The regular Zakus were kind of a regular sort of, well, almost like a army camo green, kind of like a light green version of the plastic soldiers that people used to play with. The crisp winter weather isn't too bad. The exam takers should be face first in the entrance exams at Kagoshima University right now. As for me, I ended up spending New Year's without having chosen my post-graduation career path, same as Akiho. Post-grad unemployment is pretty much a given now. Needless to say, my parents really got on my ass about it at the end of the year. Surprisingly, once I go to Tokyo for the expo, I don't think I'd mind setting up camp over there. Things will work out fine even if I don't go on to college. Even I know I'm probably being naive. That's just how it goes. Many people.
Kai? 何ぼーっとしてるの?
And we're back at the facility with Akiho. And we have plenty of tweeps to sink our teeth into. Less than a month till the expo. Akiho's clearly in a cheerful mood. Everyone has to be there today. That's an order, Frau Botu. But I refuse, says Frau. But I don't think that's gonna fly today. Yeah. Kaido gets the idea. I'm looking forward to it. Glad someone is. Meanwhile, in this B, we have an emergency meeting in the morning today. I'm so hyped right now. Something exciting is finally happening, Kenichiro. It's finally done. They really did it in such a short amount of time. Kids these days. Once Fujita isn't in a grumbling mood. I think he's honestly proud of the work that he and the Robotics Club has achieved. It's been 8 years. My dream of being the first president of the club was fulfilled in my second year after being a supervisor. I helped raise the current members. Way to go, first president. Michi, you should be praising this. Yeah, you should be more praising Akiho, but then again, you're you, and you keep doing you, so yeah. Well, I'm gonna be late to the meeting. Don't have to rush too hard, I. Meanwhile, in the news, moving steady to Expo opening. Gient 2 by Ronald from France is the first one to arrive. Looks like we're up against some serious competition, guys. We get to see Gian 2 in person. This is exciting. Hurry up and open the expo. It's literally a super robot war, but with no fighting, lol. I mean, more than 10 robots are gathering in Odaiba, right? It's the first time in history. A real landmark. As the generation that watch mecha anime, I can't keep my cool. I want to see Prince by Toyota. Don't be all jolly. The capital is still not fully back up from the solar storm. We shouldn't be doing an expo right now. If we had money, it should be used for repairs. It's too late to dial it back now, though. You're sowing a pretty sight by talking about Robot Expo and whatnot, but the number of homeless people in Tokyo is at its highest in history. How do you explain that, Mr. Governor? Very correct. There are more robots recently, right? Aqualiner is opening, but it's run by robots too, right? Number of robots are increasing, but at the same time more robots are getting destroyed too. When I hear things like that, I picture Tokyo's peace and order getting worse. How's it doing? Could be better. I live in the city, but it hasn't changed much. I feel that if it had been worse, the city would be at its end. It still has a calm look to it. There's still a lot of people out at night. Is it really okay to open the expo like this? And now, let's see if there's anything in List D. Here goes. And there is. First up is, of course, our old friend Lightning Fast Nightheart. This is an article from a while back, but I heard a little girl who was in a coma for 10 years was recently discovered. My delusions are running wild. Irie Yukifune is no delusion of yours, Nightheart. In fact, yeah, I'd forgotten how grandiose your own narcissism could be. I mean, if cold sleep becomes common, I could legally marry a younger girl, right? Don't think that's how that works. Come on, am I wrong? If you freeze a 10-year-old girl for 10 years, you get a 20-year-old body because her body stops growing. Holy shit, time for the 3D revolution. It's the dawn of 3D, lol. Says the guy who constantly hates 3D and praises 2D to the ends of the earth. Moving on. More input from Dash. Lightning Nightheart, she is preaching dreams for an otaku, and I absolutely agree. Legal lolly is the utopia that all men, all warriors strive for. Everyone knows that. No one will be able to judge you anymore. I forgot that your mantra was a legal lolly for the win, Dash. I really did. What? Why would I ever lay my hands on my own daughter? She's my angel. I wouldn't let anyone touch her. I wouldn't allow any dirty hands to touch her. Wait, but does that mean me too? I have dirty hands. What do I do? That means I can't have my relaxing bath times with my daughter anymore. No. Over dramatic as ever, Dash. Dagnabbit. And it's curry gohan, chestnut rice, and kamehameha, or kurikame. The interesting sort of either dessert or cereal thing. Nightheart and Dash, could you not? If you're going to continue spewing out your nonsensical delusions, I will crack your heads open and jam electrodes in there. I can't believe you're both still acting like this at your ages. Yes, Kurikame has a tendency towards lobotomizing people. Yeah. I think it will take a while until a cold sleep machine would be available. The biggest risk comes when you detoast, and Kurikame also has a tendency to typo, much like Juna. It's defrost. Screwed up. MFL. I think it's possible to place someone in cold sleep with recent scientific advancements, but the hard part is storing. You would have to do human experimentations, and then find out what kind of results you get. Well, Ko Kimijima certainly succeeded. I'm pretty sure if you went to recruit test subjects that there'd be tons all around the world. I think it's tech that's really desired, but scientists have morals and refuse to move forward with the tech because of that. It's the same as blaspheming God. Then again, Kurikame, I know a few scientists and pharmaceutical organizations that put aside their morals in exchange for moving forward with said tech. Besides, if the source is Sports Tokyo, it's likely 99% fake. I mean, the tester was a beautiful little girl. Stuff like this isn't a fairy tale or some otaku's delusions, you know, QED. We should breathe a sigh of relief that Iru's condition was reported in Sports Tokyo, because that means a lot of people will ignore it. Which means that, for now, we are once again under the radar of the infamous Committee of 300. But as always, your insights are most appreciated, Kurikame. Or should I say Kurikame? Never mind. Or Cumin Kame. I should really stop. I'm getting too into this. God damn it, I'm having way too much fun. Akiho comes up beside me and peeks at my face. Despite being in the same hot water as I am, Madam President over here is totally cool and collected. That's because what she's been waiting for this whole time is about to be realized. Or she's probably just not thinking about it. I'm guessing she's too focused on the robot to be worried about anything else. For now, at least.
今日は結構あったかいなって思ってね。んで、原付は止めてきた？
今日は起動テストするから、ようやく会の出番だよ。よろしくね。
Of course, Kaito has still been volunteered as the pilot/operator of Gunbuild 2. He is hoping that Frau's programming is fully calibrated.
でも俺、完成した2号機をまだ見てないんだけど。
Yes, indeed. Between December and now, a lot has happened.
だったら今日これからたっぷり見ればいいよ。
I'm sure we will, Akiho.
見た目はともかく、 パフォーマンスはガンツク1より圧倒的に向上してるんだから。
Or materials, or pretty much, well, everything.
絶対回もたぎるはずだよ。
Maybe not as hyped as you are. If at all. Akiho is in a really good mood today. She's clearly confident about how Model 2 turned out, and to be fair, she has every right to be.
起動テストってことはさ、例によってめんどくさいギャラリーがたくさん詰めかけてきてるわけ？
I don't think we have to worry about a repeat performance of last time, Kaito.
それはない。
And of course, we also don't have to deal with Sumio's over-eccentricity again. This is a private performance.
アメ社長もね、ガンツク1の時で懲りたみたいだから。
Mr. Candy indeed.
今回はガンツク2がまともに動くのを確認してから島のみんなにお披露目するんだって。
And then it's off to the expo in Tokyo. She's referring to the president of Space Candy, Mr. Sumio Nagafukada. Akiho calls him Mr. Candy for short.
それにこんな島の端っこまでわざわざ見に来るような人はさすがにいないよ。
That's true. It was mostly neighbors and locals who came out last time. We arrive at the entrance to the building to find Juna and Frau waiting for us.
ヤシオくん、アキホちゃん、おはよう。
Did you two marathon your way over here? Because it looks like you did. Juna nods her head, a troubled expression on her face. Frau's clinging to Juna's legs. She looks pale as a ghost.
コナちゃん、具合悪いの？
長深田先生の運転で酔っちゃったみたい。
That explains it. God damn it, Michi, you really are useless. Juna points to the Thunder Emperor parked near the gate. That thing will give anyone nightmares or motion sickness. Michi's sitting in the driver's seat with the window open so that all may hear his outrageous snores. He's actually sleeping during the day at a time like this. Once again, I reiterate, Mr. Useless. I think you need to find a foul bucket, Kaito. Quickly. Preaching the choir in that one, Kona.
だから言ったじゃん。ミッチーの車で送ってもらうなんて自殺行為だって。
See, even Akiho knows what's what. Frau got a taste of Michi's driving the very day she moved here. She really needs to hurry up and get a scooter license.
スバルは？
Good question. Where is he? Probably already here, but...
あ、もう中だよ。1時間前には来てたみたい。
No, I thought as much.
早っ！
Beaten to the punch, Akiho.
真面目だな。感心感心。
That he is.
カイ、同じ男子として見習ったら？
Don't get too excited about that.
それって俺に対する頼みなわけ？
Akiho immediately recognizes what I'm getting at, and the expression on her face screaming, "Oh crap."
そういうことなら、まず俺と勝負して。
You really need to learn to lighten up, Kaito. She was just making a gist out of it.
もういいって。
Then again, Kaito's ground rules still apply.
じゃあフラウボー行こう。
Akiho grabs Juno and Frau by the hands and pulls them inside the building. Be a bit gentler with Frau.
ありゃいないな。
Granted, she knows better than anyone how that would go. In that sense, he made the right choice. Actually, I wonder if Nai-san is here today. I'd love to get a sit in if possible. You and your priorities, Kaito. Model 2 isn't at the top of the list of my priorities. I'll just leave Mitch in the car. Good call. Good call.
おお。
Soon as I enter the building, I'm met with a blast of cool air and a completely finished giant robot.
じゃじゃーん、これがガンツクプロジェクト試作2号機、略してガンツク2です。
That looks much sleeker than Gunbuild 1.
へ
That's
え、
for sure.
すごいな。
You can say that again. It's not even moving, but even I can recognize that, as Sumio would say, that this thing clearly has impact, and that's no lie at all. In fact, if we had more time to work on it, we probably wouldn't even need the gun barrel exterior. But then again, this is supposed to be modeled on gun barrels, so yeah. Everyone will be looking at this through the Pokecom IUI app as usual. It honestly feels like Model 2 just kinda popped out of nowhere since I had so little to do with the construction. That being said, I did see the process unfold to a certain extent, I suppose, that of course being the legs. Assembly of Model 2 ramped up toward the end of last year. Its appearance practically oozes with the personality of its designer, Subaru. Well, man certainly knows how to construct a robot. It definitely loses out to Model 1 in terms of charm and impact. I would say the other way around, Kaito. I would say that Model 2 was far more impactful than Model 1. The first thing that pops out is how slim the body is. I mean, just look at the legs. They're open, spacious in the shins. A complete 180 from Model 1's thick-ass legs. You said it, Kaito. Plus it just feels, it just overall feels more robotic, if that makes any sense. Which is kind of what you want a robot to feel like. At lacks any kind of decorative additions, like it was assembled with only the most necessary parts, which again fits pretty well with Subaru's design philosophy. Basically, it looks like a robot for industrial use, not one you'd see in an anime. It does have a head, but only so it can hold an omnidirectional camera and sensors. It has no face. Wait.
頭に貼り付けられてる紙みたいなのって何？
I think I know who's responsible for that, Kaito. Stuck to Model 2's boorish rectangular head is a piece of paper with something that looks like a face on it.
顔。
You said that with so much enthusiasm, Akiho.
顔？
見たまんまだよ。あと紙じゃなくて布だから。
I wouldn't have guessed.
あの顔はうちのささやかな抵抗の後なの。
Whatever reason, Akiho starts to pout.
スバルが顔に角とか目とかつけるの認めてくれないんだもん。せめて機体の星型だけでも取り付けさせてほしいって言ったんだけど、あのスターは頑張れるの象徴なんだよ。わかるでしょ？
Nope, not at all. Typical Kaito. She really should be asking someone who is familiar with gun barrel, aka not me.
でもダメって言われた。
なんか全体的に安っぽいね。
I shouldn't really be surprised that Kaito would make that assessment.
でしょ？
ロボ1号機はもっとひどかったけど。
Yeah, it was. Very much so. Akio can't argue with that. Akio glares at me, but I just let her eye lasers bounce right off me.
あんな顔、誰も可愛いと思わないよ。
I don't think cute was in Subaru's mind when he designed it, Akio. And speaking of the man himself, hello Subaru. Subaru appears from the back room. He walks over to us and bows his head in the most half-assed way possible.
おはようございます。
Pragmatic to a fault. That is Subaru.
で、
In a nutshell.
また不毛な議論を蒸し返すつもりですか？
I think Akio has learned her lessons on that one. You do remember why this robot was being designed in the first place.
不毛な議論って？
顔を作るか作らないかですよ。そんな話に丸一日も付き合わされたんです。
You may not think it's necessary, but other people
ああ、アキちゃんってそういうところはこだわりたがるからね。
顔はロボの命だとかなんとか散々文句を言われましたよ。実にナンセンスですね。
I would tell you to stick to hobby robots, Subaru, but we all know how your father feels about that.
そもそも モデルにガンバレルを使うのもやめた方がいいと言ってるくらいなのに。
Then, yeah, from Akio's perspective, that would pretty much defeat the purpose.
なんで？
去年夏以降のスキャンダルはヤシオ先輩だって知ってるでしょ。
Ah, yes, the scandal that, yeah, the scandal that was, predicated by framing.
今ガンバレルがどれだけ叩かれているか。
Brown knows full well what Subaru is getting at. But the Kuroguris have been exonerated from that crisis, Subaru. Or that. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to talk about the final episode in front of Frau or not. The subject's pretty delicate. But because of that, Frau feels as strongly about Gun Barrel as Akiho does. Even if they don't always get on or see eye to eye. But I digress. Contents of the leaked episode, as well as the reveals that 13 staff members have mysteriously died, not to mention Minami Kogori's message. The gun barrel scandal continues to be debated across the entire world. Subaru is not mistaken that this is the worst possible time to model an expo robot after gun barrel. Poor Akiho. But
頑張れるは絶対に譲れない。これだけは絶対。
I knew Akiho would say that.
そもそも頑張れる以外の 3D モデル持ってないし。
Frau, if Subaru had his way, he wouldn't need 3D models. Then again, yeah.
ええ、その辺は全部聞きました。だからそこはしょうがないとしても。
And of course, lest we forget, there are the many times in which you tried to obtain Frau's programming abilities only to fall flat on your face, many a time over. As crude as Frau's antics can be, I still find Subaru's own situation in that regard quite hilarious. It's too late to turn back
ロボ
now.
の命は顔じゃありません。性能です。
A robot has to have some appeal, Subaru. That's what you would refer to as being iconic.
それは違うよ、スバル。特に二足歩行ロボットにはね、性能以上に容姿が重要だと思う。
That being said, we would definitely hope that Gunbuild 2 can actually move a lot swifter than Gunbuild 1.
でなきゃわざわざ無駄で効率の悪い人の形にする意味がないもん。
確かに対人コミュニケーション用としては必要ですが、それはあくまで基本システムがきちんと確立されてからの話です。
Once again, Akiho and Subaru's philosophies clash. A can only wonder how things would turn out if Subaru encountered Misaki of old.
だいたい設計図の段階でも顔はなかったのに、ほぼ出来上がってから急に言い出すのはどうかと思いますよ。イルオで見ればちゃんとそこにガンバレルがいるし、顔だってあるんです。それでいいじゃないですか。
でもさ、現物に可愛さが全然足りないって思わない？
I hate to break it to you, Akiho, but Subaru doesn't care at all about cute.
ガンツク1はね、足も太いし性能もどうしようもなかったけど、それでも可愛げはあったよ。やっぱりロボの命は顔なんだってば。ね、ジュンもそう思うよね。私
Juna might have recovered from her phobia of giant robots. That being said, she's not the expert we're looking for. Juna is flustered at the sudden cue to speak. We put her on the spot. Good job, Akiho.
そうかも。
Jeez. At least an attempt was made.
そうかも。大徳先輩は部長に賛成なんですか？
Don't glare at her like that, Subaru.
私は
Juna fidgets for a bit before decisively looking up.
私も可愛い方がいいと思う。
That's another one against
その
you.
方が思い入れしやすいし。
Wow, not bad for an introvert, Juna. I don't think she's ever expressed her opinion to Subaru so concisely before. He's going to have to think this one over, even if he doesn't agree with it.
フルゴーリはどうだ？
割とどうでもいい。
I thought as much. Well,
ヤシオ先輩は？
俺はどっちかっていうと性能かな。全一狙うためにはキャラ性能って結構重要だったりするからさ。
once again with the fighting game analogies.
あまりにも性能が悪すぎるキャラを選ぶのはマニアックとかチャレンジャーとかじゃなくて単なるマゾだね。
Then again, some people are good with low-tier characters.
2対2、危険1ですか。決着はつかずです。
Indeed it is.
結局のところこの議論は設計思想やロボットに対する捉え方に対立軸が行き着くんですよね。
Pretty much, and that's the key word there, Subaru. Ideals.
い
Even
や
you
好
have.
みの問題じゃないの。
ですね。そういう言い方でもいいです。
Then again, it's ironic that the only one that Subaru has in his corner is none other than Kaito himself.
そしてそれは僕がロボ部に入ってから、いや入る前からずっとやり合っている話で、おそらく今ここで話しても平行線のままで終わるでしょう。
Indeed, the wheels are turning. We have to move with them. He has a point. Neither of them plan to back down even the slightest bit. Even after 6 months.
顔の件はあれだけ話し合って決着は一度ついたんです。それで我慢してください。僕だって不本意ながらも妥協案を出したじゃないですか。
That face cloth is supposed to be a compromise.
というか、あそこまで完膚なきまでに論破したのに。部長はよく証拠りもなく僕に反論できますね。少しは僕の考えについて理性的な反撃ができるんですか？できるなら聞きますが。
Are you sure you want that, Subaru? Not that Akiho can give one, but this coming from the man who dressed up and actually went by the stage name of Mr. Pleiades.
Konniara!
なんで俺に八つ当たりするんだよ。
Akiho venting her frustrations yet again on Kaito. She messed up my hair again. Why didn't she attack Subaru? Because he has the power of dodge, Kaito. Had absolutely nothing to do with any of this.
反論はできないから起動テストを始めよう。
Or at least she was clear about
分かっ
that.
てもらえてよかったです。
God damn it, Subaru.
いつかスバルをコテンパンに言いまかして泣かせてやるんだから。
You might actually regret that, Subaru. I don't see that happening in our lifetime.
では起動テストについての注意点を僕の方から。
その前に
Juna timidly raises her hand. She's still overwhelmed by all this.
まだ天王寺さんが来てないけど始めちゃってもいいのかな。
And I did say that she was going to be a bit late. Ai-san isn't the only one absent. Nobody from Jackson was present, actually. That's odd.
そういえばそうだね。珍しいな。いつもなら集合時間より早めに来てるのが普通なのに。
You would have thought that Keneshiro and a few technicians would also have been here as well.
まあでも諸注意とあと操縦方法の説明くらいはしておいても大丈夫でしょう。
I wonder about that. Even with the instruction manuals, you would still need assistance.
今日の起動テスト
Professionals.
主役はカイとジュンだからね。操縦方法ちゃんと覚えておいて。
Controls, eh? If this were a match, they'd be the most important thing to remember if I wanted to win.
では改めて説明します。
Very well then, Subaru.
オペレーター、サブオペおよび駆動システム担当者はきちんと聞いておいてください。フルゴーリ、君のことだ。ちゃんと聞いてくれ。
Give it up, Subaru. It's a lost cause.
だが断る。
A very lost cause.
こと
Behold the power of an internet meet. You have no control.
そんなわけで続きをどうぞ。
ここまではほぼ僕と部長だけが働いていたようなものですが、今日からはバトンを渡しますんで。
Yeah, thanks for that.
明日以降は万博への搬送に入るまでおよそ1ヶ月、3人にたっぷりとセッティングを詰めていってもらいます。
Yep, the task now falls to Kaito, Juno and Frau.
きっちり仕上げないと万博でグランプリをもらえないと思ってください。
おっす。
It's a lot of responsibility.
はいはい。
だが断る。
I don't think that's gonna
もう
work
そ
on
れ
him
はいいか。
again.
処分。
Sad face indeed. Frau lowers her shoulders. I'll just leave her be.
頑張れる試作2号機の特徴としては、
Subaru pauses for a second and quickly glances around the room.
モノポールモーター、
Ah yes, our secret weapon.
これを使っているのが最大の特徴です。
The thing that will drive it forward.
この電動式モーターを採用したことで、1号機とは比べ物にならないほどの高い運動性を実現しました。1号機と同じ感覚で操縦すると、あまりの動きの速さに驚くと思います。駆動システムについては、僕の M45 で使っていた姿勢制御ソフトをフルゴールに改造してもらいました。
Of course you did, as well as salvaging M45.
端的に言うと、リアルタイムでの3次元スキャニングと医療のストリートビューイング機能等を連動させた位置測定、姿勢制御機能ですね。
Very complex. According to Subaru's explanation, here's the basic rundown. Model 2 is equipped with 3D scanners on both shoulders. By scanning its surroundings, the AI automatically controls the robot's posture, so it can actually stand. Not only that, but it's apparently synced up with the IIUO Street View app. It's very convenient. The photos that users all over the world upload onto IIUO are taken with a 3D camera installed onto Pokecoms. Basically, though it may be artificial, the IIUO Street View app is digitized in 3D. By referencing this data, Model 2 can more precisely identify the terrain. It will definitely help with movement. And object differentiation.
画期的なのは、入力されたコマンドに対して AI が未来予測を行い、あらかじめオペレーターにその予測結果を提示してくれるということ。
That would make Kaito's job a little bit easier.
これにより危険な動きにつながりそうな時は事前に緊急停止する余裕が生まれるんです。
Very sophisticated control system.
大した動作はできない試作2号機においては宝の持ち腐れかもしれませんがね。
So it's far more mobility than Gunbuild 1.
いずれにせよ遠隔操縦のおかげで安全性はかなり上がってます。
We won't know that for sure until we test it though, so...
1号機よりずっと安全ですよ。
That's not much of a threshold to clear. I'm extremely grateful to Subaru for that. Back when I piloted Model 1, I thought I was going to piss myself in terror.
それで この試作2号機を動かす上で必要な操作が2つあります。一つはコマンド入力。これはフルゴーリの作ったキルバラシステムを導入しました。
Music to Kaito's ears, as usual.
操縦感覚はヤシオ先輩がロボアンで使った種菓子マシンとほぼ同じです。
種菓子マシンさんかいね。
I prefer the honorary prayers myself, but I digress. Subaru completely ignored Akiho's nitpicking. Sad face.
あらかじめ登録しておいたコマンドに対応した動作のみをロボ2号機は実行します。
That much is given.
なので自由に好き勝手な動きをさせられるわけじゃありません。
That makes it considerably safer.
今のところ登録されているコマンドは基本動作が3つ、特殊動作が1つだけです。これはセッティングの段階で必要に応じて増やしていってください。ちなみにコマンドはキルバラや種菓子マシンよりも難易度を上げています。
That's understandable.
これは安全性を考えた結果です。これだけの大きさだと事故が起きた時に大惨事になりかねませんから。
The fact that Yuna herself can attest.
うっかり誤入力してしまうのを避ける狙いがあります。
Yeah, we want to avoid that at all costs.
で、コマンド入力とは別に1号機にはなかった操作が2号機には必要でして、
What would that be, Subaru?
それがあそこに置いてあるレーザ銃座です。
Sitting by the base of Model 2's foot is what looks like a missile launch pad with some kind of gun emplacement. A cylindrical device about 2 meters long is being supported by a pedestal. That's very snazzy and high-tech. At the end of the device is a handle and a set of buttons. It's connected to a large generator via a thick cord. What the hell is this thing?
レーザ光送電装置です。ドクの趣味のせいでこんな物騒なデザインになってしまいましたが、
I remember something about laser guidance systems in previous discussions, and also the overall aesthetic would actually go nicely with the whole gun barrel aesthetic.
これを2号機のパラボラアンテナへ向けて照射することで電力を送ります。
Okay, it's not actually going to be fitted to the robot.
今後2号機の操縦と送電についてはヤシオ先輩と大徳先輩2人のオペレーターで交互に担当してください。
Hence the need for a sub-operator. It's still quite complicated. Especially for someone like Juna. As soon as he finishes speaking, Juna's expression clearly stiffens.
注意点としては人に向けてはいけないということです。
He says, "Yeah, we heard about all the dangers of that thing when we decided on how to power Model 2. Apparently it doesn't take much to kill someone with it. So needless to say, neither myself nor Jenna wants that kind of responsibility."
私そんな怖いの操作できます
I don't blame you.
俺も人殺しちゃう威力なんでしょ。
Essentially. Are would anyone in their right mind allow some uncertified high schoolers to use something like that? That's a very good question.
ああ、その点は大丈夫。ちゃんとね、安全装置をつけてもらったの。
Really now? Probably should have explained that part first.
ガンツク2のパラボラアンテナに照準が当たってる時だけレーザーが発射される仕組みになってるんだ。
Akiho to save the day.
ちょっとでも照準が外れたら自動的にレーザーは止まっちゃうの。あと本番ではこの銃座をもっとコンパクトで小さなものに変更する予定。お父さんの知り合いのメーカーさんにね、試作品を作ってもらってるからもうちょっと待ってて。
Well, that's good to know. Huh, cool. That should make it harder for accidents to happen. Kenichiro to the rescue. Genocide is in very evident relief. Yeah, moving that large laser replacement is very difficult in its current state.
もちろん稼働時には JAXA の人に監督してもらうつもり。
Good to know.
ちょっとでも危険だって判断したら止めてもらうようにお願いしてあるよ。
The safety precautions have been met.
ただレーザー光送電はね、出力がそんなにないからずっと送電し続けてないとすぐに電力切れになっちゃうの。
But of course, there's always a snag. There has to be.
しかもガンツク2はパフォーマンス中上下左右に動き回るでしょ。そんな状態でも正確にパラボラアンテナに狙いを定める腕が必要になる。
Given the fact that it's supposed to be performing certain poses, this is going to be an interesting challenge.
こればっかりは練習あるのみかも。
In other words, we have to nail this test.
カイはそういうのゲームで慣れてそうだけど。
Yeah, but that's only for the control aspect of it, Akiho. The laser aspect is a different story.
どうかな。
Having good aim is key to doing well in first-person shooters, and I don't think that Kaito is a first-person shooter sort of gamer. The Kill Ballad is a fighting game. The genre is completely different.
でもレーザー銃座の操作は俺の方が向いてるだろうね。
If only to take the pressure off of Juna.
そういうことならメインオペレーターは純ちゃんがやれば。
But then again, Kaito is the only one who is familiar with the Kill Ballad fighting system. That way I can focus on the laser and Juna can focus on moving Model 2 around.
そんな私はサブでいいよ。
Actually, if Juna had her way, she wouldn't be either operator. We're, yeah. If we had more club members, or if we had technician fill-ins, certainly, but we don't. Juna hesitantly shakes her head back and forth.
だってさっきレーザー銃座にはあからさまに拒否反応を見せてたじゃないか。
それは危険かもって思ったからで、説明聞いたら安全そうだし平気。ジュンがメインオペレーターならアメ社長も喜ぶんじゃない？
He would at that. But yeah, that's right. He's been fond of Juna since the Model 1 days. He might even give us more money if Juna steps up to the plate as the main operator. That being said,
本当に私はサブでいいの。操縦はヤシオくんみたいに上手な人がやるべきで。
2号機はホビーロボとはわけが違います。
I think we get the idea.
技術は一切求められない。誰でも操縦できるとも言えます。
But again, Kaito is more familiar with the control scheme.
必要な時に必要なコマンドを入力さえすればいい。
Kaito is the only one with the reflexes too.
ある意味客寄せパンダです。2号機のオペレーターにはそれ以上の役割はありません。
Starting to sound worse than Sumio there, Subaru. Four Eyes. You could at least try to be a little thoughtful with how you word things. He basically just told Juno that she brings nothing to the table and can be easily replaced. After all she's doing to contribute to the club.
少なくともヘラヘラしていて態度だけでかい男子よりは。
Is that supposed to be me?
小柄で小動物的な女子の方が観客受けはいいでしょう。
Again, Subaru tact. It's a useful skill. You should acquire it.
スバル、それじゃ褒めてるのかけなしてるのかわかんないよ。せめてジュンは可愛いからメインオペレーター向きだって言ってあげればいいのに。
言えるわけないでしょ。
ごめんなさい。
For what you've done, Subaru, this is your fault. Miss Juno apologizing.
とにかく私としてはヤシオくんと2人で一緒に頑張っていきたいなって。
In any event, it looks like our worlds are set, Kaito.
いきなりメインに抜擢されても困っちゃうってというわけでこのままサブで。
純ちゃんがそこまで言うならしょうがないか。
And so ends my master plan to push all of the responsibility onto her. Man, Juno really is nothing but earnest there. Maybe you're not so different from Subaru after all, Kaito.
じゃあこれまで通りオペレーターはメインがカイでサブがジュンね。
That's final.
2人とも操縦方法とレーザー銃座のコツ頑張って両方覚えること。っていうかオペレーター2人だけじゃなくて部員は全員覚えた方がいいかも。
That might not be such a bad idea. We should avoid the situation where Model 2 doesn't work because one of us is out for the count. Good
すみ
plan.
ません、お待たせしちゃって。
And on that note, Nai has arrived. Hooray. It's then that Nai-san finally shows up. Perfect timing. She apologetically lowers her head time and again.
ちょっと会議が長引いちゃいました。会議？日曜日なのに？
That's surprising.
まあ。
Dare I ask what meeting? Is it just me or is she trying to avoid talking about it?
それより起動テストもう始めるんですよね。春中さんもすぐ来ますからサクサクと準備しちゃいましょう。
Well, at least we have another supervisor.
ファイト！おお！
My son shoots her fist into the air. She's just as excited as Akiho is today.
それじゃあ 次はフラウボーに操縦方法を説明してもらおうかな。
Be interesting. Frau is sitting by the wall. When called, she sluggishly rises to her feet. She looks a little better, maybe, still trying to shrug off that motion sickness.
ヒルバラと同じって前から何度も言ってたっしょ、上皇。
Frau still with the lead speak.
それは分かってるけど、全く同じってわけじゃないでしょ。
そうは言うがな大佐。
This isn't Metal Gear Solid, Frau.
説明も何もコマンド表配ればそれで OK じゃね。
Yeah, that's probably better than explaining it.
はい、ヤシオ先輩。
Frau, keeping her lowered, sneaks a small piece of paper into my hand. Thanks for that. Why is she pretending this is some kind of secret? I wouldn't delve too far into that. On the piece of paper are 5 different commands. Advance, strafe, 90-degree turn, crouch, pose. As Sabaru mentioned earlier, all of the commands require at least 3 button inputs. The controls are annoyingly precise and feel like the ones you find on a character designed for pro players who can actually play at tournament level. It'll take some practice, but as long as I get the timing down, I should be fine. It should be a piece of cake compared to KB, at least. The only exception is the crouch command. This one requires only 2 inputs. I quickly memorized the commands and passed the list to Juna. Memorizing them is one thing. Executing them is something else.
決めポーズっていうのが万博でやるパフォーマンス用のコマンドね。
Indeed it is, Akiho, but I feel that now is a good time to cut this episode of Let's Play Robotics Club's Elite short for the time being, and when we return, we shall continue the test demonstrations of Gunbuild 2. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.